Hi, guys. You know what? I just had the most amazing thing happen to me. I recorded an entire hour of Morning with Meg without sound on. So, this is my second recording of this class today. I'm sorry if you were in our earlier class and you couldn't hear me. I didn't, that's the one thing about YouTube. I can't see or hear anybody unless you chat me up and say, I can't hear you. But I think it was my AirPods. Anyway, beautiful segue into what we're talking about today, which is, in awakened doing, which is where we're moving here. If you've been taking my classes for the last couple of weeks, you know that we've really been working with the 4 R's of sort of being awake. And those are to recognize what hooks us in our lives. The second is, once we recognize the hook, not to scratch the itch. So one of the things that we're missing in this quarantine is road rage. It's a great way to kind of have that reactive ego mind take over, and a great way to practice taking a big breath or counting to 10 before you react. When we're at home, maybe with small children, we have the same opportunity. But then the third R is really to relax into that state of awakened consciousness, to not try and fight with it, to really not resist, but to soften into that refraining, to understand and practice loving kindness. The fourth R is what we're taking up today. And that is a resolution to live in this state of consciousness. And that is constant. It's not something where we really arrive. We always have to practice this stepping away, the resistance of that urge to react, the relaxation, the practice of loving kindness, the practice of non-judgmental loving kindness, and then the resolving to the determination to continue to live in this manner. So, of course, I thought of core, and so that's what we're going to start with. So today, if you could, please find your way to your back. We will find our way either in Shavasana, or if you feel a little tweaky in your lower back today, just finding your way into torso on the mat, nice big bend into the knees, maybe your soles of your feet closer to the edge of your mat, knees into the midline. So let's just find our way here. Touching your belly, touching your breath. And as usual, with silence and stillness, we find it a little bit easier just to come into, to drop into this present moment. We all have our techniques. It might be following the breath. It might just be feeling the body grounding onto the earth. Wherever you are, allow yourself fully experience this moment. Maybe a resolution, an intention, or a dedication today about just staying fully present, about letting right action happen through you, seeing what the situation calls for rather than what your ego mind tells you you need to do. Maybe there's some other kind of intention that you came to the mat with, something else you'd like to take away. Whatever it is, let's fold it in at heart center, either hand on top of heart, or an Anjali Mudra prayer pose at the heart. And we'll open up our practice with one full deep inhale through the nostrils. Exhaling, just let it go. And now bringing your knees up into your belly, give yourself a big squeeze, and let's give a little bit of a round and round on the sacral spine, just stirring your knees like you're stirring a big pot. Opposite direction. And then let's open up the knees, round and round. And closing them up and taking the circles in the opposite direction. And once more, knees up into the belly and then away from you over your hips. So let's just allow from here the lower belly to engage. For lots of us, this is a great place to be, just flexing the feet, engaging through your inner thighs, letting your whole entire spine be heavy on the mat, particularly your shoulder blades. Let's really gather some energy up into the upper abdominals too. So bring or squeeze those lower ribs back into the body. From here, hands out in cactus arms or T pattern, and we'll take a little bit of a rock from side to side. Each inhale, you're back to center, recalibrating the belly. Each exhale, keep the belly engaged as you rock side to side. So just experimenting here. Again, anytime we kind of engage with the belly, it's a beautiful way to just see what happens in the mind. Kind of like the hips. You know, we sort of tell ourselves, oh, I can't do this. Or this is no fun. But we really need to approach this as though this is the very first time we're experiencing the strength of the belly. So just engaging. Take this as slowly as you possibly can. Maybe a really big dip. Maybe it's just a shallow dip. See what needs to engage and what needs to open. What needs to release? Are you holding tension in your head and neck? All right, back to center. Bring the knees up into the belly. One more time. Let's take a little bit of a spin around with the knees. Opening up into the hips. Opposite direction. And now hands to the sides of your head, spider tip fingers, elbows out. And from here, once again, knees right on top of hips. Let's take a little bicycle action. Each exhale, crunching. Now, if that feels just too much, it could be just this. Everything down to the mat. Bring your legs out into a pretty wide V, but let's keep some engagement in the inner thighs. Flex into the feet. You can always keep a bend into the knees if this feels a little too much on hamstrings, or bring your hands underneath your bum. Whatever works for you. Let's bring the hands out in front of you, palm to palm. Bring your whole entire torso flat onto the mat. Squeeze into your inner thighs, squeeze into your lower belly, tuck your lower ribs back into the body. On exhale, bring your shoulder blades up and your tailbone off the earth. Inhale it back. Exhale, crunch. Inhale back. Exhale and crunch. Inhale back. Exhale and crunch. Last time, inhale back. Exhale and crunch. Bring the knees back into the belly. Again, big circles. And then let's rock up and back along the spine. Just allow yourself to find a little bit of play here. This might be uncomfortable for people with sort of bonier backs. Please feel free to skip and just find your Navasana. I'm leaving my hands behind my knees so I can sit up really tall. Once we're here at the top, go ahead and lower your feet to the earth. We'll take a little bit of cat-cow, so sit up tall. On your inhale, pinch your shoulder blades together, let your heart reach for the knees, and then exhale, round through the spine, all the way down as far as you can go. Inhale it up, exhale, round. Inhale it up, exhale, and round. Last time, inhale up, exhale, and round. Beautiful. Find your Sukhasana, your easy pose. And once again, let's take a little bit of a trip around, just round and round. Opposite direction. And then once more back to neutral spine. So belly is engaged. Pretty much warming now, right? Hands high to the sky. Let's take a twist over to the right. So right hand back behind you, left hand to the right knee. Sit up tall. Let's find those obliques working for us. So feel the belly moving the rib cage. Give it a deep, full breath in and out. And both hands high to the sky, and take a twist over to the other side. Deep, full breath in and out. One more. And out. Back up to the center and hands down to the mat. So let's bring the left knee into the right foot so that we kind of find this spiral. All right. And in fact, once we're here, let's kind of engage the belly and see if we can kind of move the feet and the pelvis and the legs, of course, back and forth. See if we can just find a little bit of locked with the feet out in front of you and then back. Next time we come over to the right, let's stay to the right. Find that sort of modified Bharadvajasana, so pulling that left leg back. And then let's take another spin over. So looking back behind you. And then maybe coming onto your right elbow, left hand up and over. And then let's send the right the left rib cage up to the sky. So press, press, press into your elbow and send the rib cage up and then back to center. And once again, let's take ourselves to the other side. So pulling that leg back behind you, more of a hero's, and spinning all the way around. Take a look back behind you, maybe coming down onto your left elbow, right hand up and over. And press, press, press. See if you can really find the rib cage coming all the way up to the sky. And then once more, back to center. Let's come to table, towards the front of your mat. Hands directly underneath your shoulders and knees directly underneath your hips. So for the next 4 breaths, let's just take any kind of movement that we need in the body. It might be that we just really need to find some cows here, just up and back. There might be some big circles. But eventually we will come to neutral spine. So once we're here, on your next inhale, send your right foot back behind you. Keep it hip height, flex into the foot. Left hand out in front of you, thumb faces up. Engage through the belly, so pull the belly into it. And now on your exhale, send your hand to side wall, your foot to side wall. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knee and elbow meet. Inhale back to center. Exhale, expand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knee and elbow meet. Inhale back to center. Exhale, expand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knee and elbow meet. Inhale back to center. Exhale the hand down to the earth. Modified side plank on this side. Feel free to keep the leg lifted, or if it feels better, bring the foot down to the earth parallel to the back of your mat. Press and engage through the belly. And then with control, everything back to the mat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest and chin. Exhale, round through the spine. One more time. Rounding through the spine. Inhale back to center. Send the left foot back behind you. Right hand out in front of you. Thumb faces up. Give yourself a moment to get clear with the belly. And then exhale, knee and elbow, out to the side walls. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knee and elbow meet. Inhale back to center. Exhale, expand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knee and elbow meet. Inhale back to center. Exhale, expand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knee and elbow meet. Inhale back to center. Replace the hand to the mat. Modified side plank on this side. Feel free to keep the leg lifted. Press into the standing hand. Pull the lower ribs back into the body. With control, down to your table. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest and chin. Exhale, round through the spine. Really press into the hands. Try and keep rib broad back, belly tucked in. Tuck your toes under and just lift your legs up off of the mat just an inch. Let's hold here. Scoop the belly. One more time. On your exhale, let your legs straighten, and the heels fall back behind you. So we're in a little bit more of a shorter downward facing dog. Just pedaling out, giving yourself a little bit of a break. Press into the hands, scoop the lower belly in, get long in the back body by tucking your ribs back into your abdominals. Shoulder blades down the back, big broad back like a superhero back. Begin a walk towards your hands. Standing forward fold. Here we'll find ankles and knees and hips starting to align. So it might be walking your feet forward and then coming back onto your heels, lifting your toes, maybe just finding here where that sweet spot of balance is in your feet. Engage through your inner thighs. So really feel as though you're pressing into the sides of your feet and also into your big toe mounds. Deep, full breath in. Exhale, just let something go. On your inhale, either vertebra by vertebra all the way up or flat back all the way up. Reach high to the sky. Find your mountain pose. Inhaling here and exhale completely. Find engaged inner thighs, lower belly, shoulder blades relaxing down the back, chin parallel to the earth, crown of the head lifted. Inhale, hands high to the sky. Exhale, take a forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Send your right foot back behind you to your lunge. Your left follows, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll yourself up into your plank pose, top of a push-up. Really scoop the belly, squeeze the inner thighs, heels are engaged. Exhale, your feet, your knees down to the earth. Find half plank. Take your Ardha Chaturanga. Inhale, up into your baby cobra, upward facing dog. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Inhale your right foot to the top of your mat. Your left follows, standing forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, reach high. Exhale, all the way down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Send your left foot back behind you, and then your right follows, downward facing dog. Roll yourself up into your plank pose. Your choice, full or half Chaturanga Dandasana. Up into your baby cobra, upward facing dog. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Left foot forward to your lunge. The other foot follows, standing forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, reach high. Hands together, heart center. Inhale, hands high, sit down into your chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands come back behind you for Ardha Utkatasana, sit low. Inhale, back to chair, stay low. Exhaling here. Inhale, straight arms, straight legs. Exhale here. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Ardha Utkatasana. Inhale, back to chair. Exhaling here. Inhale, straight arms, straight legs. Exhale here. Last time. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Ardha Utkatasana. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhaling here. Inhale, straight arms, straight legs. Exhale, trace the midline all the way down. Uttanasana, standing forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Send your right foot back behind you, lunge. Left follows, plank. Bring the big toe mounds together. We're going to take Vashisthasana towards the left side. of the mat. You can always drop your right knee and take your modified side plank as we have, or bringing big toe mats together, rocking onto the blade of your right foot, reaching high with the left hand. Let's really press the hips up towards the sky. Maybe getting that side stretch. And then back to the center. Your choice, taking your full or half Chaturanga Dandasana up into your baby cobra upward facing dog, or just finding your way back to your downward facing dog. Lifting your right leg up and back behind you, pulling it through for your lunge, but this time spinning the back foot 45-degree angle, top of the mat, warrior one. Press the right hip back, left hip forward, press into the back, heel like a tent peg into the earth. Press all four corners of the front foot into the mat. Engage through both quads. Hands high to the sky. Now, wrap your left elbow under your right for Garudasana. So if this doesn't work with shoulders, feel free to hold right here, just grabbing opposite shoulders. Elbows up, shoulder height. Slow and steady, engage through your lower pelvis as you move your left knee up and over right. Sit low. So you can stay right here, just working with balance, or we can work a little bit more with core. Exhale, knees and elbows meet. Inhale it back up. Exhale, knees and elbows meet. Inhale it back up. Exhale, knees and elbows meet. Inhale it back up. Unwind the hands first. Then, left knee up, flex the foot, send it back slow and steady for your high lunge modification. Taking your warrior one once again. In high lunge, bind the hands behind the back and take humble warrior, but let's keep right hip tracking back, left hip tracking forward, belly is engaged, so try hard not to bow through the belly. Long line of energy. Next inhale, all the way up, press into both feet. Exhale, all the way back down, frame out the foot, step it back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, roll yourself up into your plank pose. Vashisthasana this time towards the right side wall. So rocking onto the blade of your left foot, lifting up into your right hand, bowing your body, or again, left knee down to the earth for modification. Let's come all the way back to plank. Once again, your choice, full or half Chaturanga Dandasana, up into your baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Raising your left leg up and back behind. Press, press, press. Bring your knee up into belly, shoulders up over wrist. Find the foot up as far as it can get on the mat. Warrior one, this side. Rising up, warrior one. Moving left hip back, right hip forward. Really feel the engagement of the feet. Now right elbow under left, Garudasana or modification. Next inhale, let's go ahead and lift the right knee up and over left. Squeeze the inner thighs and sit low. Now either staying right here or taking it into a crunch. Exhaling, knees and elbows meet. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, knees and elbows meet. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, knees and elbows meet. Inhale, back to center. Unwind the arms first. Now, pick the knee up off of the other. Stork. Send it back for your high lunge. Plant the back foot. Get long in your lunge. Modification. Warrior one. Hands bind behind the back. Engage the belly as you take that forward tilt. Press into the big toe mound. Press into the back pinky. Engage through the back quads. Lift. Next, inhale all the way back up. And then all the way down. Frame out that foot. Hop it back. Downward facing dog. So your choice here, stay in downward dog or take the movements, the ritual of vinyasa, rolling yourself up into your plank pose, taking your knees to the earth for half chaturanga or full chaturanga, coming back through your back bend into your downward facing dog. From here, we're going to take a good 5 full deep resting breaths. So let these breaths bring you back if you found your mind getting away. Let these breaths be somewhere where you get to listen. Let these breaths help you relax into the recognition and the resistance of the urge to do something from ego mind. Let right action come into this situation. Let's give it 2 more full deep breaths here. And then we'll come back to our downward facing dog. Raising the right foot up and back behind you, get really heavy in the left foot. From here, maybe stacking hip on top of hip. Resist the urge to drop into the left shoulder. Let's keep the shoulders square and equally placed hands. So press into the hands, send that right knee up even farther to the sky, hip on top of hip, keep the belly engaged so that there's some strength and purpose. Now, back to your downward dog split. See if you can really straighten out the hips to the earth. Pull the knee up into belly, shoulders up over wrists. Let's hold deep, full breath in. And out. Place the foot up as far on the mat as you can get, coming into your warrior two foot pattern. So in warrior two, the leg is bent at the top of your mat. Both legs are working equally. So back leg shouldn't be getting a free ride here. Keep the right knee tracking over the right pinky toe, so towards the right pinky toe. Engaged, belly engaged, shoulder blades down the back. Now, straighten out the knee closest to your front of your mat. Really press, 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 and begin to find your way towards your shin with your hand. Lift your hand out, palm face up. parallel to the mat. See if you can find some more space. Keep pressing into your left foot. Keep the belly engaged. Keep the shoulder blades down the back. Reach, reach, reach. And when you can't go any farther, light hand on the shin. Keep the kneecap moving up towards your pelvis on your front foot. Let's see if we can get really long in the side bodies and heart now shining towards the side wall. If it feels good to you, you can raise your left hand high to the sky, finding your triangle. Now, careful not to overbend into the front knees. So keep a little teeny tiny micro bend. To do that, you have to engage that kneecap, right? Coming all the way back up. Here's where we might need a block. So block in the hand or in front of your mat. We're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana today. But before you do, before we fling ourselves, we're going to really get clear and determined about the next move. All right? Belly is engaged. Shoulder blades down the back. Drishti is where we want it to go. So we're looking over our right hand and then slow and steady coming into your Ardha Chandrasana. Now flex your back foot, the lifted foot. Once again, we want to get long in the side body. And that means that we're going to kind of scoop up into the lower belly, but also scoop up those lower ribs. So resist the temptation to flare into your ribs. Belly is engaged. Where is your breath? How is it moving? With control, all the way down. Now straighten out your front leg, front toes towards the long side of your mat, and pivot on your back foot. You might need to get really long, just so we can get that kind of feeling that we need for our warrior two. So once again, we really feel as though we're engaging into the inner thighs. They're not taking a pass on this. So even feeling as though you're scooching your feet together energetically helps. And then pulling the quads into it, feeling the lower belly getting strong. Hands out to the sides. And now straighten out into the leg. And so once again, without using your hands as momentum, let us find that we are getting really long. So heart is moving towards the side wall, and you're getting long, long, long. Engage through this back leg. And now, hand closest to the back of the mat, reaches. Keep the belly engaged, keep the shoulder blades down the back, palm faces up. Keep a micro bend into that front leg. Now hand to your shin, shoulder on top of shoulder, and maybe raising the hand closest to the front of your mat, up to the sky. Press into both legs. Press into both feet in it. And now back up, finding your warrior two. Once again, we'll take Ardha Chandrasana towards the back of your mat. I always like to work with a block just so I can find alignment. I want to keep those long side bodies. I want to keep my heart towards the side wall. So, engage through the belly. Foot is onto the mat. That front foot, toes are pointed straight towards the back of the mat. And with one smooth, fluid movement, I'm going to bring that back leg up. I need to engage through the back leg. And hand high. Engage through your belly. That's where the stability of this pose is coming from. Press into your heel. Slow and steady, all the way down. Straighten out your back leg. Let's come to a lunge towards the front of your mat. So really step it back into your lunge and back to your downward facing dog. Again, give yourself a moment to arrive and then think, do you really need to take a vinyasa? If you do, go ahead and take it. If not, find your way back into your downward facing dog. This time, dropping to your knees, take your child's pose once again. Now, if it felt good to work into the hips, child's pose can be done with really wide knees, letting your whole torso dip in between your knees. If you feel a little tweaky in your lower back, keep your knees together. And let your hands come by the sides of your body, palms face up. No matter where you are, we're going to take a good 5 to 8 full deep resting breaths. Remembering that in our busy culture, we denigrate relaxation. So, is this a conditioned response to want to stay in movement or in your downward dog? Or is this right action that the situation calls for? Again, we're looking for awakened doing, coming from the recognition of our hooks, the resistance of our need to respond, a relaxing into a softness for ourselves and for this process. And finally, a resolution to continue to live into this practice. All things we can find here on the mat. Let's give it one more full deep breath. And then joining me in a table position once more. So once we're in our table, finding an inhale, dropping belly, lifting chest and chin, shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, round through the spine. One more time like that. Dropping belly, lifting chest and chin. Exhale, round through the spine. So try and keep that engagement in your belly that you had with the rounding. And send your right foot back behind you. Keep it hip height. Left hand out in front of you, thumb faces up. So let's find a little bit of balance. Belly still engaged. Then bend into your right knee and find your bind. So if the bind doesn't come for you, you can always just continue to find your balance. But if the bind comes for you, let's work to square off the shoulders, to engage through the belly, to lift the knee up, to kick the shin away. Find that heart opener, but find it from a place of strength. Give it one more full deep breath in. And then on exhale, let go. Inhale, 2 different dimensions. And then everything down to the mat. All right, let's bring that right knee behind your right wrist. And then curl your back toes under, and we'll just walk ourselves into our pigeon. So if there's a way that you usually like to come into pigeon, I would challenge you with this way. Again, habit is what we're kind of looking at here, right? So if you have a habit for pigeon, maybe taking a different way. So maybe staying high on your hands and taking it more like a yin pose. Maybe what is called for today is to come onto your back and find your supine pigeon. All right. So let's find our hip opener. Of course, you're welcome to take any kind of hip opener that makes sense in your body this morning. It might be, instead of pigeon, you'd really like to work with Gomukhasana, cow face pose, or with Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Let's just find the next 10 breaths, wherever we are, just working into the spaciousness that you're creating with this practice. All right, let's come out of our pigeon. And if you'd like to come back to your downward dog and feel sort of the differences in the side bodies, please feel free. It might just be any kind of instinctual movement here. Feels good. Let's take the next 3 breaths, just doing what we need to do to find ourselves one more time in this shape. In table. So lifting your left foot back behind you and your right hand out in front of you. Once again, really get long and get square with the belly. Now bend into the knee and find the bind here. Once you have the bind, kick the shin away. Square off the shoulders. Keep your belly engaged. Let go of the bind, hand out, foot out, and down, knee behind left wrist, and let's walk it back into your version of pigeon. Again, give yourself a moment to notice. If you are finding your way down, let's think about engaging through the belly. So don't just let the belly all hang there, flaccid. Let's keep some activity in the belly. So from here, 8 full deep breaths. So coming all the way back up, join me once again in table. And this time, lifting hips up and back behind you. Walk your way to your downward dog. This is the last And downward dog will take this practice. So perhaps just noticing what's different. If anything, there might not be any shifts. And lifting your left leg up and back behind you, really press. Again, let's look for balance. And then stacking hip on top of hip, holding out towards the side wall. Find that knee making its way up, 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 up. Shoulders stay square. Back to your downward dog split once again. Let your hips square. Lower your foot to the earth. Last opportunity for a vinyasa. Either taking it or joining us in our child. Let's give it 3 full deep breaths in child's. And then off to one side of the hip or the other. And let's come all the way down onto the back now. But before we get there, let's find that mellow Navasana, I call it. Both soles of the feet onto the earth. Give yourself some seated cat-cow, so sit up really tall, shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, round through the spine. See how low you can go. Inhale, back up. Exhale, low and slow. Inhale, back up. Exhale, low and slow. Last 2 times. Inhale, back up. Exhale. See how far down you can get. Last time. And all the way down for your back. Bring your knees up into your belly one more time. Give yourself a big squeeze. And maybe some circling, opposite directions. And now hands out in T pattern, our cactus arms. And let's go ahead and just rotate our hips over to one side or the other. Let's relax into this shape. So for some of us, it feels good just to take, if you're coming over to the left-hand side of your mat, to take your right knee up and over for that sort of Garudasana look again. This one will give you a little bit more of an assist in your twist. But it might be that the right action is just to kind of find your way into your twist. Let right action come into this situation. Give yourself a moment of awareness. Resist the habits that you've developed in your practice. Let's just feel how good it feels to breathe in the twist when gravity is doing her work. And then back up to center. We're going to go ahead and let the knees fall over to the other side of your mat. And once again, just let the situation dictate your actions. See if you can find some new space. Space that hasn't been explored yet in this practice. And now knees back up into the belly. Let's give ourselves a big old happy baby here. So rocking side to side on your sacral spine. Maybe straightening out one leg and maybe the other. Maybe both legs are straight. Whatever you are doing, let's just feel the sacral spine flat against the mat. And now one more trip into the strength and the resolution that we have in our body, the determination that we have in our body. Keep your block handy. We won't need it right now, but we might need it in a minute. Bend into the knees. Find the belly. Knit the lower ribs back into the body so there's a beautiful abdominal engagement. Lift the tailbone in and up off of the mat. Press into all four corners of the feet. And now lift the hips up. Again, hips and lower ribs in a flat line all the way towards your knees. Your bum is working. Shoulder blades flat against the mat. And let's just find the inner thigh engagement. And breathe. And now, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, all the way down. This time, maybe you'd like to slide the block underneath your sacral spine and lift your feet up off of the mat for waterfall. Maybe you are working on a heated inversion like headstand or handstand. So maybe taking this time now in our practice to find your way there. Just taking a little bit of time. If you're working into headstand or handstand or any of the inversions, it's best to work with the wall, particularly if you're still kind of practicing this. So with the wall behind you, all right? So what you would do is find your legs walking up the wall. So headstand and shoulder stand, not meant for people who have any kind of cervical injury, cervical spine injury, or shoulder injury. These poses really do require a lot of shoulder strength. But we can all just kind of feel that engagement. So bring your hands together, pinkies down, and then let's find the crown of the head just on the mat here. Maybe moving your feet really close to the wall. Your thumbs are engaging into almost the occipital lobes. Let's really press into the elbows. So press into your elbows so that your head lifts up off of the earth a little bit. Now the work would be to begin, keep your belly engaged, begin to walk your feet up the wall until you can get your hips directly over your shoulders and your body is in an L shape at the wall. Very careful not to place a lot of energy into the crown of your head. It needs to be very light on the floor. If that's not in the cards for you today, maybe legs up the wall. Another great way to end a practice. Just letting everything turn upside down, as we've done throughout the practice. We've really turned our whole world upside down. We've been countercultural. We've really worked on the resolution to do awareness rather than habitual movement. Wherever you are, let's just find our way into our final postures. Shoulder stand, waterfall, legs up the wall, and maybe then another happy baby before you finally release your way in into our final posture of Shavasana. Thank you. Oh, it's so wonderful to see friends from Brazil. How lovely, Gisela. So lovely to see you. I'm so glad to hear that you're doing this. Please feel free to share. Always happy to have you here. All right. As we settle in for our Shavasana, have your hand on the end your YouTube soon, because I do want you to take a good 5 to 7 minutes of rest. But let's listen to these words from Eckhart Tolle again. There are 3 ways in which consciousness can flow into what you do and thus into the world. 3 modalities in which you can align your life with the creative power of the universe. The modalities of awakened doing are acceptance, enjoyment, and enthusiasm. You need to be vigilant to make sure that one of them operates when you are engaged in doing anything at all, from the most simple task to the most complex. If you're not in if you're not in the state of either acceptance, enjoyment, or enthusiasm, look closely and you will find that you're creating suffering for yourself or others. All right, dear friends, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to hearing your feedback. Please feel free to email me at megartleyyoga, and that's ARTLEY, yoga @gmail.com. You can also look me up on my website, lostandfoundyoga.com. So I look very forward to seeing you next time around. End this YouTube and take some relaxation. See you soon. Bye all.